Hey everyone, it's Anik again. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be an update on my Pan Those Eyeshadows project. Finally, the first week of March has been a little crazy, so I haven't been able to film anything or post anything, and actually I didn't wear makeup the first week of March except for like one day. So it was just kind of like a pause on everything. I had a bunch of stuff for work. We were doing inventory, and so it was a lot of early mornings and then one overnight, which was so much fun. I didn't get home and go back to sleep until 6 in the morning, and that was a little crazy. Anyways, so this is my update on my Pan Those eyeshadows. I want to say this is like the 8th update. I started this mid-summer in 2019. I was watching all of these Project Pan videos. I just got really excited and I wanted to just dive into it, so I decided to make this a 1.5 year long project rather than just a year, so I can just dive into it. And I've had so much fun just going through all of these shadows, and I have some progress for you today. So really quick, I just want to show you the bonus pan that I had in this project. It came from my Milani Most Loved Mattes. Though this is a palette that's been in this project multiple times. As you can see, I've hit pan on several other shades, these ones up here and this down here. But my bonus pan this month was this shade right here called Come Up Roses. I usually use this palette to do my makeup when I'm traveling just because the mirror is so big. The mirror is like the entire lid. And I'll dip into it just for some transition shades because those are like really easy to work with, and I ended up hitting, you can see like the big pan right there for Come Up Roses. So now onto the shades that I did hit pan on. Finally, I have a couple in here that have been rolling in for months. And it's not because I don't like these shades, it's just because I've been focusing on other things. And one of the ones that has been here quite often is this Tati Beauty Textured Neutral shade. Oh god, this is so messy. It is that one right there, the metallic story shade. Oh, caught myself in the mirror back here. And that one I hit pan on finally on February 21st, and it took me 13 uses in this entire project before I hit pan. I did watch Beauty News. They were going through like a destroy the palette kind of video, and they destroyed this palette. And I saw how deep the pans were, and I noticed like how big the dip in that shade was. So I was pretty confident after that. I was like, oh, I can just go on and finally hit pan if I just keep focusing on it, which I did, and it's a good size pan. I think it was maybe like 2 or 3 days. I just used it every day after watching that video, and the shade I hit pan on comes from the Shane Dawson Jeffree Star Conspiracy palette, and I had at one point 5 shadows in this palette, 3 in my Project Pan 2020 and 2 in my Pan Those eyeshadows. So I hit pan on Just a Theory, a nice good dip right there. I love the shade. It's so easy to work with, and it pretty much transforms any eye look. Like you can just tap it on the lid with any kind of matte sparkle, and it really does transform the look, and I love that. It's very like easy, like when you look at it you're not too excited about it, but it really is an effective tool in your makeup arsenal. I hit pan on February 17th using this 13 times. So 13 times before I hit pan, and as you can see, Illuminati is up there as well. So Illuminati was this beautiful green one right here. I did not hit pan on it, but I did use it a lot more than I had previously. Get my little notebook out here. A total of 6 times this go around. For a total of 8 times overall since it's entered the project. I haven't been reaching for that one because I was focused more on the Just a Theory shade. So once I hit pan on that, I really did just dive into this Illuminati shade. And it's absolutely gorgeous. so pretty, and I think it's so perfect for St. Patrick's Day. I'll use it like the week leading up. Such a beautiful shade. And as you can see, there is a really good dip right there in the corner. I tend to like go for the corners, like but there's a pretty good dip. I'm pretty sure I'll have no problem hitting pan by the next update, especially if I'm going to use it over and over again. With Just a Theory, I was able to hit pan after 13 uses, and I've used this one 8 times, and I feel like roughly they had the same amount of progress before they entered the project. So I'm pretty sure like you'll see pan pretty soon, maybe like a few more uses out of that Illuminati shade. And it's really pretty, and I think it's perfect, like I said, for St. Patrick's Day, which we're in March. St. Patrick's Day is just a few days away, so like the weekend leading up, I'm definitely gonna incorporate a lot of those greens into my... The next shade comes from my Kathleen Lights ColourPop Dream Street palette. It was one of the first palettes I bought from ColourPop. And as you can see, the shade Spark is this really pretty red one right here. It's kind of like a reddish orange shade. And there's a pretty decent dip in it. This was one of my favorite shades from this palette before it entered this project. And I used it with this blue over here called Water Bearer. So these two I would use all the time in an eye look. And I kind of shifted to using this Mermaid Boy shade since it's in my Project Pan 2020 to use that whole shade up. So I've shifted like the combo I use, but I did use this shade with Illuminati a couple of times and it looks so pretty. The dip is pretty deep. I'm pretty sure like in the next few uses I might see some pan. But here is what that looks like. It's kind of like a corally, orangey, red. Like it's so pretty. I don't know how to describe it, but I like it. See, those two together has been the combo I used a couple of times, and I really enjoyed it. So I think just using those a couple more times, maybe like over this weekend, going into like St. Patrick's Day, which is a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. I'm pretty sure it's Tuesday. Spark, and I used it a total of 12 times in this project, and I'm pretty confident that's going to be like one of the next ones I hit pan on, and we'll see a couple new shadows next. The next shadow on the list comes from my Morphe 35OS palette. I forgot that this was in this project. And I don't know why. I used it a total of 4 times this month, and I think that was pretty early on, but it's going to be this shade right here, which is actually a nice shade. It's really pretty. I like that. Ooh. The kind of like military, kind of khaki green. It's really pretty. It is a very pretty shade and I do enjoy it, but I forgot that this palette was in this project and I kept counting like, okay, that shade, that shade, that shade, and I don't know why. Otherwise I probably would have used it a few more times, but I forgot about it. And the last shade that is going to roll over into March comes from the Jeffree Star Jawbreaker palette. It is the shade Fuck, which, I'm so classy. It's this neon orange right here. I didn't get a lot of progress on it, but you can see the star is starting to kind of fade away. I used it a total of 6 times in this past month, but it is a really pretty shade. I do love like this purple. It's my favorite actually, and then this green's really pretty. Oh, I stuck my finger in one of the red shades. Let me see. It is pretty. Like, it's a very nice neon color. I like this for summer. I think this would be a great like fun color to wear during the summer. I did use it a few, like I've used it 6 times obviously, but I incorporated with Spark in a couple of the looks and it worked out pretty well. So I like it's. I think it's cohesive now actually, looking at it for a color story. So those are the 4 that are rolling over into the month of March. So I already entered the amount of shadows I have in the Pretty Random app. There's 321. I may have added some more. It's fine. But it always starts at number 49, which is weird. Even if you do like less than 49, it still like puts you on 49 for the number. So we're gonna roll this twice and we're gonna see what we get. I'm just gonna write them down and then we'll check the shades. So the first one is 15. 15 and 13. Cool. I'm pretty sure those are in the same palette, which makes it easier. Scroll all the way up because I scrolled all the way down to see how many I had. 15 and 13 actually are different shades. So one is a single eyeshadow. It is the shade Seashell from Maybelline, and 15 is Orange Soda from the Soft Glam palette. Give me 1 second and I will grab those. 15 was Seashell from the single Maybelline palette. I'm gonna take that sticker off. This is what it looks like. There's probably no progress at all on it because I haven't used it. I bought it because it was like on clearance, super cheap. And I was like, ooh, that's a nice shade to have. I'm gonna put it here at the end, and you can't see it at all. That is great. So you can barely see it on my finger. I'm gonna do another swatch. So it's kind of like a light pink, pretty similar to the one I had in my Too Faced palette. It was like a kind of pale pink shade I used to kind of set my eyes, add a little bit of sparkle and highlight to things, but yeah, barely see it. And there's no progress on here, so might be here for a while. We'll see. And then the next one comes from my Anastasia Soft Glam palette. Remember this was on the project before. It's so dirty because it's well loved. It's not dirty, it's well loved. I think that's what we're gonna say from now on. And the shade is Orange Soda, so it's this one right here. There is quite a big dip in there, so I have no doubt that I'll be able to hit pan on that pretty quickly. I do love this palette a lot. I think it's just such a nice one to have. You can use it from like spring, like this side of the palette's more like spring, and you go into fall with a little deeper reds and browns. So coming into spring, it's nice to have that shade again and be able to play with like this top of the palette, kind of smoke it out a little bit with any of these, but excited to have this back in the game. Oh, I didn't swatch that. Let's see. There's like a decent sized dip in there actually. Put it on the side. I re-swatched these to try to give myself more room, but my fat fingers did not allow that at all. So I think that'll actually work really nice with those greens, and then maybe like incorporating it in those reds too. But those are the shades for March, the color story for March. I actually like this. Alright everyone, so that is the color story for the month of March. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below, and I will see y'all next time. Thanks for watching.